You can now buy my DVD, End Time Prophecy 101, 5 Reasons End Time Prophecy Can't Be Ignored. If you're a pastor of a church, or you go to church, you maybe are on staff there, and you really want to get your church hooked on end time prophecy, starting to understand what it means, what it's about, why would you even care about end time prophecy, this DVD's for you. If you are brand new to prophecy and you don't quite understand it, but you want to know more about prophecy, this is the foundational teaching, my first DVD in this series. I'm going to do a bunch of other DVDs really rather quickly, but you can get this at jessewoodrow.com. Go to the shop page. You can buy it there, and we'll ship it right out to you. But it's available right now, End Time Prophecy 101. I had this thought the other day, and I've got to discuss it. And it just kind of just popped in my mind, and I thought, wait a minute, hold on a second. If Trump gets reelected, what does that mean for you and I? Now, I'm not here to tell you to vote for Trump, not vote for Trump. That has really nothing to do with this video. But what I want to present to you today is the thought that I had about Trump being reelected and what that would mean for end time prophecy. What we try and do here at the Jesse Woodrow Show is take what's happening in the news, what you see and people talk about on TV and around the world, and then go, okay, let me just flip that on its head. And how does that look when it comes to Bible prophecy? What is that about? Make sure my phone's off while I'm taping. But my point is that this idea of Trump being reelected, it means a lot when you think about Bible prophecy. Let's first just discuss the past. So the last season that Trump was in office, he really pressed forward toward this Abrahamic Accord situation. He wanted Middle East peace. He tried to get it. And goodness, man, he was pretty close. He was the closest we've got in years, in fact. Clinton tried it, Bush tried it, Obama attempted it, but honestly, Trump got the closest we've got in a long time. And the Abrahamic Accords fell through, but right at the very end, we had Saudi Arabia. We had all these nations starting to sign agreements that they want peace and financial transactions to start taking place, and they're okay with Israel. And Trump organized the whole thing. Now, let me disclose to you what the Bible says about this Middle East peace treaty and how it affects you and I. Let's go to this. Is Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. And let me just preface, this is not a verse that is easy to understand because there's a lot of big words in it and just stuff going on. But I'm going to try and dissect it for you today. Let's look at Daniel 9, 27. You'll see it says here that, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of that week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So the he there in this verse is the Antichrist. And I don't have, an hour to go into explaining all this today, but suffice it to say, the he there is the Antichrist. So the Antichrist is actually going to make a covenant, and he's going to confirm Israel's right to exist. This is actually in reference to Genesis chapter 15, verse 18, where the Lord said, look, I'm going to place my name there. I'm going to, Abram, by the way, do I think that that Trump is reading Daniel 9:27 when he does and he names the thing the Abrahamic Accords? No, I don't think so. But it's very scary because the Abrahamic Accords were based upon Israel's right to exist and having a two-state solution. So you have the he there shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. My personal take on that many verse is Israel does not have to have peace with Canada. They don't need peace with France or anything. I mean, it's not, if Canada and Israel don't get along and it doesn't really matter. They're not going to be bombing each other from other sides of the world. It's just not going to happen. But who Israel needs peace with is that area, with many in that area. If you look at the nation of Israel on the map, you can see it's just surrounded by Arabs. I mean, there's no friends in the area at all. And so we know that. Look at Hamas attacking Israel October 6th. So anyway, the many there is, in fact, I believe, it doesn't have to be worldwide peace. It might be worldwide peace. It might be peace with Canada and Israel and the whole world, the UN. It might. But even if it's peace with the Arab League or with the Arabs in that area, in my opinion, that would suffice for this. But it will, the Middle East peace treaty will look something like this. It will have peace. It will allow the Palestinians and the Israelis to actually get along there and financially produce transactions, I'm sure, and not kill each other, and so forth and so on. So that's what that is saying there. And then it says that he shall cause the oblation and the sacrifice to cease. And what that means is that there is going to be a temple, a third Jewish temple there on the Temple Mount that is actually going to be built. Now, we know this is true because if you talk to the Temple Institute, they got everything ready. The third temple is ready to be built. They have the Sanhedrin. They have the 120 of the guys in the white robes. I mean, they got the Cohens. If you heard of a Cohen, those are the actual people that the Levites that are going to be performing the actual temple rites and the sacrifices and so forth. And guess what? We have red heifers ready to be slaughtered. They have to purify the Temple Mount with the ashes of a red heifer. And that's about to happen. They hope they can do it on a Passover. I've seen the articles where they say, maybe we'll do this on Passover. So we're right there at this moment where we're going to build the third temple. And the Bible explains that the Antichrist will actually allow and make and authorize and stamp, if you will, the Jews' right to exist in that holy land. And he's going to cause the sacrifices to cease, which means there's got to be a temple built there. And when he does that and he stands in a rebuilt Jewish temple claiming to be God, guess what's going to happen? That's going to be, as it says here, that's going to be an abomination. It's an abomination that a man would say he's God. And not be God. And when he does that, it says here that the area will be desolate because God won't be there. If you say you're God, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you right now, that's where God's not going to be, is wherever you say, I'm God, I'm God, this is me, this is my land, this is my, God's going to be like, I'm nowhere near that. The Bible says he distances himself from sin. So, why am I talking about all this? What does this have to do with anything? If Trump gets reelected, I believe that will catapult us to restarting the Abrahamic Accords. And when that peace treaty is signed, you're looking at the beginning, according to Daniel 9:27, that's the beginning of Daniel's 70th week. The Bible says that there is a 7-year period. The first 3.5 years, the Bible says that the temple will be rebuilt, and in the midst of that final 7 years, then the Antichrist will stand in that temple. He will claim to be God, and he will cease sacrifices on the Temple Mount, and then there will begin the final 3.5-year period of what we call the Great Tribulation, and then after that, there will be the seventh trumpet, and then the Battle of Armageddon. We will go, the church will go and be raptured and then go fight the Battle of Armageddon. That happens at the seventh trumpet. So you have a possibility of a man that's going to be in office that wants Middle East peace and actually did a tremendous job of trying to achieve it in the Abrahamic Accords. Now, let me tell you that I understand the Bible says he shall confirm the covenant. So it's the Antichrist that's going to really be involved in the confirmation of the covenant, the beginning of the final 7 years, Daniel's 70th week. And so anytime Trump gets anywhere near making peace, I go, no, stay away from that topic. Do not, no, no, don't take that picture with you took that picture with so, do I think that Trump is the Antichrist? I don't think that. I believe that the Holy Roman Empire will be reborn. There will be a union between the Roman Catholic Church and a political figure birthed out of Rome, just like 800 AD when Charlemagne, when Pope Leo III crowned the head of Charlemagne in 800 AD and said, "I now crown you the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire." That was a union between the Catholic Church and a political figure. I do believe that will be how the Antichrist is birthed out of the Roman the Roman Empire, if you will, out of Europe. I don't believe Trump is the Antichrist. However, I'm smart enough to understand, bro. You start getting close to making peace in Israel, it throws up a little bit of red flags for me that I don't like that he's involved. So now, cut to, I saw today a interview between Bibi Netanyahu, who's the prime minister of Israel, and he was being asked about why is he backing off from this two-state solution that's being presented right now because of the Hamas attack. They want peace over there, and come on, man, why don't you want to have peace with the Palestinians?
There's overwhelming support for my position. It's not an outlier position. It's not a fringe position. The people of Israel are united as never before in saying that what we will not accept is a Palestinian state that will endanger Israel. That's rewarding terrorism. This will set a Guinness World Book of Records on rewarding terrorists after they committed the most atrocious savagery against the Jewish people since the Holocaust.
So I want you to hear what Governor Newsom said about your reluctance with this two-state solution on everything you just outlined. Listen.
With regard to Benjamin Netanyahu, who I've visited and I've worked with in the past, he's doubling down on stupid as it relates to the two-state solution and walking away from that. Let's work to get these hostages home, work to eliminate Hamas, and rebuild Gaza, and advance a two-state solution.
Are you doubling down on stupid?
Well, look, I met the governor when he was here, and I hope he had a chance to tour the country, because then he would have seen that this is not my personal position. It's the position of the people of Israel. They're not stupid. They understand that to just offer a Palestinian state is to give a platform for the repeated attempts to annihilate the Jewish state. And
he says it's too soon. He says it's too soon. No, I can't do it. It's too soon. I need some time here to do away with the PA authority. We found out now that the Palestinian Authority government has now resigned. So that's, a step in the right direction as far as Bibi Netanyahu goes. And we see that Bibi Netanyahu is simply saying, look, we're going to do this in the near future, but right now we can't. And I went, what? What'd you just say? He's talking about Middle East peace in Israel with the Palestinians. He's talking about a two-state solution. He's talking about, guess what? Daniel 9:27. So now, to just kind of pull everything, in and kind of try and put a button on this, I believe that if Trump gets reelected, there is definitely a chance that we could possibly, we have the technology for the mark of the beast. We have the birthing pains that are described in Matthew 24. They're actually happening. We talk about the pestilences. COVID was obviously a pandemic. And so this is the first time in history that we've been able to have a pandemic, the pestilences, which is Jesus mentioned in Matthew 24, and the opportunity for a digital world. This is the first time ever. We couldn't do it in the early 1900s with the Spanish flu. There was no digital world yet. So we couldn't have been in the end time then, but we are definitely in the end time now. We're in the beginning of sorrows, I believe. And so could Trump be reelected, and could he actually start the final, or be involved in the final 7 years to the battle of Armageddon and the coming of the Lord? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I know for sure? No, I don't. But I tell you what, the minute there's Middle East peace signed, you can count 7 years. According to Daniel 9:27, that's the beginning of the final 7 years. It's Daniel's 70th week. 1 week of years is 7. So times are exciting. things are happening, and whether or not you vote for Trump is not really part of the video, but understand that if Trump gets back in there, there is a good likelihood that he will push for Middle East peace, and he will push for Daniel 9:27, the Abrahamic Accords. He will push for Middle East peace. Now, does Biden want Middle East peace? I don't think so. I don't see him really loving Israel at all, other than with his words. He could, I guess. But I don't see the enthusiasm from Biden to push for Middle East peace with Israel as much as I do for the enthusiasm of Trump pushing for peace in Israel. So I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I watch some other guys, and I'm always watching what people are saying, but I don't think anybody has really commented on the fact that if Trump gets reelected, would it be God's will? Would it be God's divine will that Trump get reelected and not Biden? Well, according to what I'm seeing here, according to what I'm telling you, it looks like somebody has to initiate this Daniel's 70th week. Somebody has to start the final 7 years. Would Trump come alongside somebody else like a European leader and say, hey, look, the United States and Europe, we're both going to push for this Middle East peace treaty? And then would that guy be the Antichrist, whoever that is? Yeah, totally. I see that coming. So we're in an era of globalism. We're in the New World Order. You hear it all the time. We got to be a globe. We got to think like a globe. We got to think like a globalist. We got to, we had Walter Cronkite say that we got to give up our sovereignty. I mean, this is Walter Cronkite, who most parents of ours sat around and watched for years and in the news. He's talking about giving up our sovereignty, and we're going to have to come to a world governmental system and world laws, and that's globalism. Well, that's actually the spirit of the Antichrist. That's what he wants. He wants a globalist, and guess what? He's going to get it. He's going to stand at a rebuilt Jewish temple and say, hey, I'm the dude, yo. I'm the dude, and he's going to claim sovereignty over everyone, and he's going to say, unless you do this, which is pledge allegiance to, get the mark of the beast, unless you do that, you will not be able to buy or sell. I mean, that's going to happen. It's going to be a financial ultimatum. It's going to happen. I can see it happening. I can totally see it now. I couldn't see it 15, 20 years ago. I can see it now. I can easily see it happening. So if Trump is reelected, will we start the final 7 years during his presidency? You guys, here's the alarm. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. Could it have started 20, 30, 40 years ago? No, because we didn't have a digital world then. We have a digital world now. It is very possible that if Trump gets reelected, we could start the final 7 years. Power is knowledge, and the lack of it is death.